Canto 31. Summary. The canto opens with Beatrice demanding that Dante answer her charges. He must declare whether or not her words are true. He is so overcome, however, that he cannot speak out loud, mouthing silently his affirmation. As soon as he does, even more sighs and tears break forth out of him. She demands that he name his sin, which he does. He was distracted and turned from the right road by things of the present with their false pleasures. Upon this confession, she becomes slightly more gentle and explains how he was wrong. Hearing her explanation, the nettle of repentance bites him, and everything that had once twisted him aside from the supreme good now becomes his enemy. Overcome by this self-recognition, he loses himself in his grief, unaware for a time of his surroundings. When he comes to, he finds himself alone with the beautiful lady he met when they first entered the wood. She is telling him to hold on to her as she brings Dante through the stream, the river Lethe. As he prepares to enter the water, he hears Psalm 51 being sung, "Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean." The lady takes hold of the pilgrim and draws him through the stream, submerging him so that he must drink of its water. As they come to the other shore, she brings him to the four ladies still dancing on the left side of the chariot. They explain that though they have been seen before as stars, see Canto 1, here in the garden they are nymphs. The four nymphs, again representing the four cardinal virtues, dance around the pilgrim, crowning him with their arms. Having repented of his sin and washed in the waters of absolution, he is now prepared to receive the virtues of prudence, justice, temperance, and fortitude. They lead him to Beatrice, but explain that only the three other ladies, representing faith, hope, and love, can help sharpen his eyes to her light. Beatrice is standing beside the griffin. Together they make an image of Christ and his bride, the Church. The three ladies sing and implore Beatrice to reveal to Dante the beauty that her veil has so far concealed. She does, but the poet has no words to describe the intensity and splendor of what he sees. Canto 31. Repentance. "O you, on that side of the sacred stream," directing to me the point of her words, the mere edge of which had seemed sharp to me, she began, continuing without pause, "Speak, speak, if it is true. So great a charge needs to be joined with your own confession." My powers were so disoriented, my voice moved but faded again before it had been delivered by its organs. She stayed a little, then said, "What think you? Answer me. The sad memories in you have not yet been effaced by the water." Both confusion and fear mixed together compelled such a yes from out of my mouth, sight was necessary to discern it. As a crossbow breaks when it has been shot, with too much tension both in cord and bow, and the shaft strikes the target with less force, so burst I under the heavy burden, pouring forth a gushing of tears and sighs, my voice weakened within its opening. Wherefore she to me, "Within your desires for me that had led you to love that good beyond which there is nothing one can seek, what chains or what ditches crossing your path did you find that you had to strip yourself fully of the hope of passing beyond? And what comforts or what sufficiencies showed themselves on the brows of other goods, so that you had to dawdle before them?" After the drawing of a bitter sigh, I hardly had the voice to answer her, and my lips formed it with difficulty. Weeping, I said, "The things of the present, with their false pleasures, turned away my steps, as soon as your countenance was concealed." And she, "If you were silent or denied that which you have confessed, your guilt would be no less noted, for such a judge knows it. But when the accusation of sin bursts from the sinner's own cheek, in our court, then, the wheel turns itself against the sword's edge. However, that you may still bear the shame of your error, so that another time, hearing the sirens, you may be stronger, set aside the seed of tears and listen. Thus you will hear how my buried body ought to have moved you in another way. Never did nature or art present you pleasure as great as the beautiful frame that enclosed me, now scattered on the earth. And if the highest pleasure so failed you by my death, What other mortal thing ought to draw you into a desire for it? Indeed, at the first arrow of those things that deceive, you ought to have raised yourself upward behind me, who was such no more. You ought not to have weighed the feathers down to await more blows either from a girl or another new thing with such short use. The baby bird awaits for 2 or 3, but before the eyes of the fully fledged, in vain are nets spread and arrows released. As young boys remain silent and ashamed, with their eyes on the ground, paying attention, recognizing themselves, and repentant, so I myself remained. And she said, Since the listening grieves you, lift up your beard, and you will receive more sorrow in seeing. With less resistance is a robust oak plucked up, whether by our own native winds or by those from the land of Arbas. Then at her command I lifted my chin, and when she asked for my face by my beard, I clearly saw the venom in her words. And after I had extended my face, my eye discerned that those primal creatures had set aside their casting of flowers, and my lights, only a little at ease, saw Beatrice turned round toward that beast who, alone, is one person in 2 natures. Beneath her veil, beyond the stream, she seemed to me to surpass her former self more than she surpassed all when she was with us. The nettle of repentance bit me there, such that whatever thing twisted me more, in its love now became my enemy. So much recognition pricked at my heart that I fell, overcome, and what I then made myself, she knows, that gave me the cause. After, when my heart gave me outward strength, I saw the lady I had found alone over me, who was saying, Hold me, hold me. She had drawn me down into the river to my throat. Light as a shuttle, she went over the water, pulling me behind. When I had drawn near to the blessed shore, I heard Asperges me, so sweetly, I cannot recall, let alone write it down. The beautiful lady opened her arms, embraced my head, and submerged me to where I had to swallow some of the water. Then she took me and offered me wet through to the dance of the 4 beautiful ones, and each of them covered me with her arms. Here we are nymphs, in the sky we are stars. Before Beatrice came down to the world, we were appointed to be her handmaids. We will lead you to her eyes, but the 3 there who see more profoundly will sharpen your eyes to the joyous light within them. Thus they began, singing, and to the breast of the griffin they led me with themselves, where Beatrice was standing turned toward us. They said, Be sure not to spare your vision. We have placed you before the emeralds from which a Moor once drew his shafts at you. 1,000 desires hotter than a flame compelled my eyes to the eyes illumined that stayed steady just above the griffin. As the sun in a glass, not otherwise was the double beast shining there within, now with one, now with another action. Now think, reader, if I was overawed when I saw the thing itself standing still, yet in its reflection transforming. While filled both with stupor and with gladness, my soul tasted that food which, satisfying of itself makes one thirsty. The other 3, their manner showing them to be of the highest rank, came forward, dancing to their angelic roundelay. Turn, Beatrice, turn round your holy eyes, was the song they sang, to your faithful one, who has moved so many steps to see you. By grace, show to us the grace that unveils your mouth to him, such that he can discern the second beauty that you now conceal. O splendor of eternal living light, who made himself so pale beneath the shade of Parnassus, or drunk from its cistern, to not seem to have an obstructed mind, attempting to render you as you seemed there where the harmonizing sky veils you, when you revealed yourself in the free air.